let's start our today's program. So my name is Lin Yongqiang. I'm at China Institute in America now in New York City, 华美协进社. So to welcome everyone joining our program. So as you know, so this is today will be the last session of our lunch and learn for this session for this season. So we still have Piao 老师 take us continue the Chinese food and food culture and cuisine journey. So this time we are traveling back to New York City, to the US to see so what's the Chinese food there and how the Chinese food survive there, and also do the restaurant, how is people if they like it there. So I'm very glad. So if you can share, so feel free to share your experience of Chinese food in New York, in other state and in England, and also maybe you can do some comparison between the Chinese, authentic food in China and here in other countries. So which one is your favorite? Which one do you like more? So I very looking forward to hear your experience and your ideas. So today I'm here with my colleague 温晨曦。晨曦，你要跟大家打个招呼吗？
Hi, hello everyone. I'm Chen.
Hello.
Yeah, she's a graduate student from East China Normal University, and she's doing her internship at China Institute for this year actually, and she has been helping us to share with you the presentation about the Chinese radical related to the Chinese food and food culture, and hope everyone like it. So, and she will give us the exhibition, presentation later. And also, I would like to remind everyone, say, if you are in the city or have chance to travel to here, so please come to Chinese. Welcome to the China Institute and to see our exhibition, our gallery, China Institute Gallery current exhibition, internal offering Chinese ritual bronzes from Minneapolis, out of the Minneapolis. Let me see. Institute of Art. So the bronze exhibition traveled from the Minneapolis Institute of Art, and they show the different vessels, and there is a very special horse statue. So, and many people like it. So hope you have a chance to see it. So, okay. So, and also during our presentation, so if you have any questions or any ideas, feel free to share it in the chat box, and Piao 老师 will answer them later. So with further ado, I'm turning the mic to Chen Xi.
Hello everyone, I'm Chen Xi, and today I'm gonna to share with you the Chinese radical 米. This character is more than just a word. It is deeply tied to Chinese daily life, agriculture, values, and of course food. And we will look at its evolution, the common characters related to eating and drinking, and some cultural expressions tied to this radical. Okay, let's start with a brief look at how the character mi has changed over time. In auricle bone script, mi looked like a group of scattered rice grains, and in seal script, the shape became more balanced and decorative. And in clerical script, the stroke were simplified and easier to write. Today, in regular script, mi maintains a clean and systematic look, but its meaning has never changed. It has always represented rice, the symbol of nourishment and survival. Because mi is such an important part of Chinese life, many other characters include the mi radical. These characters usually related to food, grains, or texture. Let's look at a few examples. And feel free to open your microphone to read them aloud with me. The first one, 高
高
高
高
Very good. 凉
凉
凉 Very good. Third one, 长
糖
长
糖
很好。And 粉
粉
Very good. Last one. 粒
粒
Yes, excellent. So whether it's rice cakes, flour, or sugar, the article tells us this word has something to do with food or grains. And now let's move into something deeper, the cultural expressions involving 米 related to characters. This reflects how rice is more than just a food in Chinese culture. It represents hard work, simplicity, and gratitude. The first one, 粒粒皆辛苦. You can read after me. 粒
粒
皆辛苦. Excellent. And this saying teaches us to cherish food and respect the labor behind it. This phrase comes from a very famous Asian Chinese poem called 悯农, a farmer's song. Written during the Tang Dynasty, it reminds us to appreciate food and respect the hard work that goes into every meal. You can read after me. 谁知盘中餐，粒粒皆辛苦。Yeah, excellent. And the second one is 粗茶淡饭. You can read that for me. 粗茶淡饭。很好. This phrase describes a simple and modest lifestyle, one without luxury but full of peace and contentment. In Chinese culture, it reflects the idea that even the most basic meals can bring true happiness. It's often used to express humility and gratitude and the joy of living life. Here is an example. You can read after me. 粗茶淡饭。也是幸福的味道。很好。This expression shows how Chinese culture values inner peace, family, and the beauty of simplicity. Okay, that's all for today, and it has been such a pleasure to spend time with you during this year's Spring Lunch and Learn sessions. And I've truly enjoyed exploring food-related radicals with you each time. And thank you for your curiosity, engagement, and wonderful energy. I hope these sessions have brought you as much joy as they brought to me. Thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you, Chen Xi. Yeah, I hope everyone like it. And Chen Xi has, has taught us the radical related to the Chinese food and culture. So it is the mi, so what we have learned today, and also the fire, I remember, and the mouth, the huo, and the kou, and yeah. So, and also I want to remind everyone that our lunch and learn will be recorded and will be uploaded to the YouTube channel. So if you have chance, you can go to the YouTube channel to review it and share it with your friend. Okay, so I would like to say thank you, Chen Xi, 谢谢 for your presentation. Okay, so now, let's have Piao 老师 take us continue the journey in New York City to explore the Chinese food and cuisine here. 朴老师
Hi everyone. I'm so glad to see you here today. And let me go to share my slides. Could you able to see it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. I also thank you, Chen Xi, for wonderful, radical teachings. Those are so fun. And so today, I'm very excited to discuss Chinese food in your city with you all. Since many of you might have a lot of experience of living and trying Chinese food in New York City and also at other parts of the world. I would like to make today's talk as interactive as possible. You are very welcome to share your favorite Chinese food you tried or loved in your neighborhood or when you travel at your travel destinations. Also, be free to use the yellow hand button of Zoom, to raise hand to participate and ask questions even in the middle of the talk. You could also put your questions in the chat box, but I will not be able to see them until the end of talk. So I really encourage you to raise the hand if you have any questions and so to start today's discussion, I put 2 photos of Chinese dishes that I had never seen before until coming to the US. I grew up in Northeast China and went to college in Shanghai. Afterwards, I went to upstate New York to do graduate school. In 2023, I moved to New York City and lived in Queens at Astoria. Until the end of last year. So I noticed one of the benefits of living in New York City was I was surrounded by many interesting food. A lot of New York City's chefs are very creative and also very bold. So it was fun. So as the picture show, like on the first one on the left, it's called grandma chicken mi xian. I never tried it before, but saw it from a food blog on a Chinese noodle shop in Midtown at Manhattan. Mi xian, as some of you might know, is a very famous kind of noodle from Yunnan province in southwest China. The chef of this shop, noodle shop, is from Sichuan, Chengdu. She is not from Yunnan, but she said and she also said she didn't grow up with living with her grandma. However, she wants to try. She really liked this noodle soup. So this is her new creation and new interpretation of this popular noodle that is usually made with thick oil, the chicken soup that usually presented as white rather than black, as you see in this picture. She used the garlic and the black sesame oil, some fermented chili, pickles, pre-sesame flower petals, as well as a tender chicken. I don't know if any one of you went to this shop before, tried this shop before. If you you did, please let me know how it tastes. I saw some reviews online, so it's a mix. So I'm actually very interested. And the second one is actually is a dish I had. It's called sushi pizza. I first had it in Auburn, in upstate New York, but I also later I found I really like the dish. And then I tried it again when I found it on the menu of a Japanese restaurant owned and operated by Chinese restaurateurs. And it is made with the scallion pancakes as a base. And then put the green salad as well as raw fishes. And with salt, teriyaki sauce, and then sushi sauce on the top. It was very delicious, but I like the Auburn version better. So I believe this photo is actually the Auburn restaurant one that my friend took me to, rather than the one in Queens. So this is my 2 examples of the Chinese food I believe I can only see or try it in no other places than New York City. I wonder if you have any other examples you would like to share with everyone. Micha?
Yeah, I went for lunch at Uncle Lou's in Chinatown, and we ordered a shrimp with walnuts dish that's sometimes called shrimp Meunier, and it's made with mayonnaise. And my friend said there is no mayonnaise in China, so it had to be a dish invented here.
Nice. Can I ask you, when did you try that dish in Uncle Lou's restaurant?
About 8 months ago.
Oh, nice. Thank you. Yeah, that dish. I also had it the first time in the US. Actually, a Thai friend who made it for me at home, and when she said I will make you a Chinese dish, I never heard of it. I never tried it in China, but I guess it has its origin in China, but it could be also American, Americanized Chinese dish. Also, it's a dish that is created by a Chinese diaspora. As you said, there is no the mayonnaise in the China, so it's actually very interesting to see like how that dish will be created. Thank you for sharing this, Michelle. And anyone else before we keep going? Yeah, you are also, if you want to type any.
I typed it in, but my friend from when I was doing my PhD at Cornell, she made me. She said, I'm going to make you Chinese food," and then she made something I never heard of, which is a Manchurian, and it's like cauliflower with some spicy. It's almost like tempura. It has like some spicy dough on the outside, and I was like, "Oh, this is very interesting." It was very good. It was very tasty, and it was cauliflower, which is quite a good dish. But I never heard of it until she made it for me.
Thanks. That's very interesting, especially considering it is a Manchurian like a dish. Thank you for all this wonderful like experience of trying Chinese food in different parts of the world. And in today's talk, I would like to to introduce where you can find Chinese food in your city and who are making them, as well as the history of Chinese food in your city. And first, I would like to show you the big concentration part, concentrated, the area that is a lot of Chinese grocery restaurants and immigrant communities concentrated. There are three major parts, one in Manhattan, in Lower Manhattan, in Chinatown, like that is the first Chinatown in New York City, I believe. And then when the gentrification become worse, and then people started to move out of the Manhattan in order to pay less property tax stuff, so they moved to the Sunset Park in Brooklyn. And around the same time in the 1970s and 80s, like people like immigrants from China and also started to move to the Flushing in the Queens, and there's a 7 train from the Manhattan to Flushing, and then that train is actually is one of the train, like if you want to take public transportation from Manhattan to the Flushing to try a lot of very authentic Chinese food. So this is today, and then as Chinatown in Manhattan is the first Chinatown in New York City. So in the people started to come to the Lower Manhattan. Chinese immigrant went to the Lower Manhattan in 1870s, and most of them are Cantonese, and then they actually they came from the California. In the 1950s, Cantonese from the Pearl River Delta area moved to came to the U.S. to work in the mines, as well as railway constructions in California, as well as Colorado in the West. And in the 1970s, some of them moved to the East Coast, and also there are other like sailors from China, like also settled in the Lower Manhattan. Short after, in the 1882, the Chinese exclusion actually limited a lot of immigrants from China. So the immigrants actually dropped a lot during after the 1882. And then later, in 1943, the Chinese were given very small quota for immigration, and until so the community population didn't grow much, but it's slowly increased until the 1968, sorry, when Immigration and the Nationality Act was passed, and passed in 1965, and then it went in effect in the 1968. That a lot of people started to move to the US. And then Cantonese was still dominated this population and this immigrant population. And then also they were the major population in Chinatown for decades. And after the quota system was lifted, a lot of people from Fujian in the southern China also joined the immigration population, and they also settled in the Chinatown first, and then moved later in the 1980s. They moved to the Sunset Park as they need more space as well as more economic way to sustain their lives. And most recently, wave of the Chinese immigrants also include a lot of Mandarin speakers from the northern and West China, so, and as well as other different regions. So that is basically the history of the Chinese immigrants to the US. And here I put a picture of the book, the living conditions in the San Francisco Chinatown, and you can see this original group of immigrants who later moved to the US actually cooked by themselves in a very in limited space, as well as actually most of them are men. There you can hardly see any woman there because women are usually denied to immigrate at that time, and the men were doing the most of the cooking at that time. Annie, do you have a question?
Yeah, did you have a picture? I don't see it. I don't know if other people can see it.
Oh, there's a black-white picture in the middle. Can you see? Do other is not?
I can see it.
Yeah, I can see it.
Just me, sorry.
I can see，或者朴老师您重新分享一下。
Oh, sure. Let me see.
有的时候会这样。
How about right now?
Okay, yeah, I think we're good.
Annie, can you see it right now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, great. So these are the first group of people like who are cooking the food on their with all the things they can find and in their within their resources. So
I hope not.
So, and then one first very famous Chinese food like created by Cantonese immigrants are chop suey. You probably can, it might be difficult for people to find this dish on the menu into this restaurant, Chinese restaurant, but it was very popular in the 1920s. And you can see like Louis Armstrong had a record released in the 1926 called Cornet Chop Suey, and also 1929 there's a New Yorker painter Edward Hopper had a painting called Chop Suey, and this dish the origin is actually still much debated, and some people say it is a dish like in Canton, in Guangdong, but a lot of people don't actually recognize this dish in China, and many people more likely to believe it's an Americanized dish that people use the vegetable they can find in the US, and they use the very economical way and then efficient way to cook the food that includes both meat and vegetables. And as you can see on the right, this I put an example of the chop suey. And it is a kind of stir fry made of the chickens or chicken livers and gizzard, or it could be beef, it could be the pork or shrimp. And you can also include the like beef tribes and bean sprouts and the celeries or bok choy and carrots. And it is served on top of rice or the noodles. And later, like when immigrants from more different places of China came to the US, came to the New York City, one major group is Fujianese, and their food are very popular as well because it's also Americanized a lot, trying to serve the customers like in a very budget way. And you can see a lot of the even in today they still use a very mostly easy like disposable like plates and plastic bowls that they don't have to serve in the real like a ceramic plates and real ceramic balls. And this is a picture of shop in Chinatown in Manhattan. And Fujianese people first settled there as they need more spaces. They moved to the Brooklyn, and then in the 1980s, a lot of around Sunset Park, like a lot of the avenues were kind of deserted after the I believe it is Norwegian communities moved out, and then Fujianese people started to settle down there. And also this kind of very economical way of take food become a very popular takeout items in the 80s in the New York City. Fujianese people have a lot of relatives in Taiwan as well, as Taiwanese immigrants started to establish some restaurants and business in Flushing, in Queens. Fujianese people also moved to the Flushings afterwards as well. So their Fujianese food is, you can see their representation in both these three Chinatowns in New York City. And in the 1960s and 70s, Sichuan and Hunan restaurants are very popular in China, in New York City. It has a very like historical significance as because at that point, like in 1949, the change of the government and the regimes like made a lot of people leave the China before the border was closed, and then most of them are are the wealthy and the important figures who have the diplomatic visas. So they have their own professional chefs, and then their private chefs traveled with them to different parts of the world until the 1960s, when the ban in the US was lifted for the immigrants. So they started to move to the New York City in the 1960 after 1965, and at that time, this kind of very high-end Sichuan and Hunan restaurants started to show up and become very popular in New York City, especially other than Chinatown, like in the Upper West Side, above the 90s until Columbia, like there's a lot of like different kind of Sichuan restaurant, and on the right, I put a picture of a chicken dish. It's called Da Qian chicken. It's named of a painter, Chinese painter called Zhang Daqian. And then he is a person who loves delicious cuisine a lot. And then this dish is actually believed to created by his private chef who went to Japan after 1949. And when Zhang Daqian visited him, he asked him to create to make a dish for him, because he brought the peppers and from the Sichuan, and then when he gave the chef this material, these ingredients, and he created this dish, and then it's very delicious. And he asked the chef to name this dish after him, and that's why it's called Da Qian chicken. And then when afterwards, Zhang Daqian moved to the Brazil, and then one of his chef actually was being invited to be a chef of a restaurant in China, in New York City, called Four Seas, I think, and so this dish is started to become very popular. It's introduced to New York City and it become popular in different restaurants menus. And then in the 1972, the President Nixon's visit to China also make a lot of like Chinese banquet cuisine very popular. Like people are curious about this food they saw in the news, and then wanted to the Chinese restaurant owner to help them to recreate the banquet dishes. And then later, in the 1990s, after the 1979, the opening policy of China, a lot of Chinese people started to have this kind of share this American dream, and they came to the US to pursue the opportunities and the fortune. And this is a very famous and popular TV show in China in 1990s. It's called A Native of Beijing in New York, 北京人在纽约. And you can see on the left the waiter in the red jacket, the first one on the left. He was a musician, like a very musician who played cello in Beijing. But when he came to the US, he had to work in the restaurant. So this is one of the extension of the this kind of immigrants very bad situations for employment, as well as this TV show also shows the broken of her family and marriage due to this immigration. And so after the 1990s, especially 2000, a lot of people are actually very enthusiastic about coming to China, coming to the US, and New York City is the most popular destination for them. And the rise and the emergence of the big community, Chinese communities in Flushing is actually due to this kind of drive. And Flushing, Queens, as you can see in this picture, is very crowded, and there are 7 train subway, and there are a lot of buses like commuting to this downtown area on the main street. And there are not only a lot of restaurants, but also a lot of grocery stores, a lot of law firms to helping the immigrants about their getting green card, getting citizenship, as well as travel agents and also a lot of housing information. So a lot of different life aspects are being supported by these different stores and then food business there. And this area today is actually becoming more and more prosperous, and it's becoming the place that if you want to get something for cooking the Chinese food or eating at a Chinese restaurant, the newest and the most popular restaurant is established there first before they opening the chains to the other parts of New York City. So you can see here, you probably can find a lot of food for many Chinese international students. They also say like, oh, what I didn't eat in China, I can actually find in Flushing. For example, there are noodle houses of different regional varieties, and on the left there is a Henan noodle, which is in the central China. And then Wenzhou noodle, Wenzhou is from Zhejiang province, is in Zhejiang province, and it's in the near Shanghai. And so these different regional food are all get together, like it's being compounded here. And so, for example, I want to explain a little bit more about this Henan style noodle soup, because I didn't have it until I visit the Flushing as well. So it's called hui mian, and the hui is a cooking technique that is forming a dish that combines meat and vegetable with the soup, and then you can see the soup is like milk white, because it's actually mixing the ingredients such as the kelp and the tofu threads with the broth, and then you need to cooking over the low heat and thickening the broth to make it very thick. So this kind of lamb, usually using lamb meat in this kind of soup, and it's very delicious and very comforting. And you can see in the kitchen, they make the hand-pulled noodle fresh to put into the broth to make this noodle. And this is more other dishes on their menu. And they have the carousels and then noodle soup, and as well as dumplings, even in the soup, in the sour soup as well as different kind of snacks and stir fries. Also, this kind of dining place become also a lot of information center for the moving the apartment, for the housing information, as well as a lot of lawyers, local lawyers information who can help the immigrants situation will be listed there as well. And then there's also a Luoyang food. Luoyang is in the west part of the Henan province. This menu it's different. They just add different meat and different stir fries with the different kinds of noodle. But I categorize into the 3 is a fermented noodle called the Gan Mian Pi. It is a very famous local food of Luoyang. And then cold noodle, liang pi. It is like Xi'an food also has liang pi. It's very similar, and then roujiamo and liang pi is also shared by Xi'an food in Shanxi province, but in the West China. But this damian pi is very like a special for the Luoyang specialty. And also there are breakfast and bakery shops in Flushing, like that serves people on the go, like go to the work very early in the morning in Flushing, who work at different business. And there are fried doughs and then different tofu now, the tofu, silky tofu, and different porridges, as well as steamed buns of mantou, very big mantou, and huajie. This bakery and restaurant called Qingdao Fandian. Qingdao is a city in Shandong province, and this kind of Shandong cuisine is actually very focused, very emphasized this kind of mantou, the steamed bun, eating with the steamed bun. A steamed bun is just like rice for them. And then there are also like a Manchu, like a dessert like the Luidaguor, the glutinous rice rolls with soybean flour and red bean paste. And they also sell some deli food like appetizer and cold dishes, like they can take home to eat as a side main dish or side dishes, so that they don't have to cook after getting home after a day's work. And in addition, in this restaurant has a buffet style lunchbox as well. And this buffet style, you actually you order you choose 3 dishes from the dishes available that day, and then they give you a rice as well as a soup, or you can choose the bottled water if you don't want the soup. So this is one example on the right. And it's very cheap. It's less than $10, and then it's a lot of choices, and then it's very popular in Flushing. And a lot of tourists even came for this kind of style of lunchbox. And there are also Cantonese dim sum is very famous. But in Flushing, there's also Shanghainese dim sum, which featuring the soup dumpling, the first one on the left, and then the fried dumpling, the middle one, as well as the cifangao of the fried rice cake is not in this picture, but it is a rice cake that they made into the rectangular shape and they fried it. It is a very popular like Shanghainese breakfast. And there are also some pickled like gizzard in the wine, and then some other stir-fried and side dishes, as well as rice cake, stir-fried rice cake with meat, with pork and vegetables, as well as some tea. And Cantonese dim sum is also there's the best Cantonese dim sum in Flushing that is even better than what I had in China. Like Manhattan, Chinatown has many dim sum restaurants as well, but this one in Flushing is very huge. Like it's almost as big. It gives me a feeling of as big as a football stadium, something like that. But it's like it's vast.
What is the name of the restaurant? The restaurant? What's the name?
The dim sum place?
Yes.
The dim sum place is called Junhao.
Junhao.
Yeah, it's called Royal Queen.
Royal Queen?
Yeah, it's Royal Queen, I think.
I see. Okay, Royal Queen.
Royal Queen. And they actually have a cart and then to serve these dim sums, and they categorize into the different types to price them, as you can see in this menu. And then this dim sum also has one other than the steam buns, and they have a very good dessert menu and beverage menu. And then on the left, you can see the mango pomelo or pomelo dessert, and then this is steamed peach raisin, and this is durian pie, and this is egg tart. And then this restaurant is during the daytime. but in the evening, it is wedding banquet venue. And then they have weddings there, and they have galas. Like they even hosted a Chinese wedding festival there, and have the private dinner, and also some fundraising. I think Eric Adams had a fundraising event there as well after getting elected. And you can see the Lian's film, like the wedding banquet, is actually set in Fangxiang as well. Not in this restaurant, but in the Sheraton Hotel dining hall, like across the street. And yeah, this restaurant's name is called the Royal Queen. And they are vegan cuisine in the food court, and they're also independent, like a vegan restaurant as well. And they serve hollow meat, barbecue, and stews, as well as this naan on the left. You can see this bread, like very dry bread, but very chewy. And then you can keep it for a long time because it's very dry. And then also hand pulled noodles. This is a food court in New Ormond, and then also it has like a Northeast style food, like a stir-fried potato. This is like a very typical, very famous item of the Northeastern cuisine. And also Northeastern style has a very big plate, like a lot of amount of food for each dish. And it has this kind of skewer barbecue, and then also this on the left is a dessert called candied sweet potato bastigua. And this restaurant is actually also served ethnic Korean food from Northeast China. And of course, like a spicy Sichuan hot pot is very popular nowadays. And this is like a very authentic way of presenting it, and then the ingredients are exactly like what I had in Sichuan. And many like Chinese international students are visiting there, since it's in the midtown, close to where they usually live. And in Flushing, they have a new a very new way of like a high-end hot pot as well. This is called Panda, Nanshan Panda hot pot place restaurant, and one of their like soup base is made with chicken soup and fruit mix, and their hot spicy hot soup base is actually even put the fish roll, and they are trying to make it fancier. And then also it's panda themed. You can see the panda paws as the handlers, and also they featuring the freshly sliced wild beef. And this restaurant actually has a lot of chains in Guangdong, and this is one of this is an expansion of their chain into the New York City market as well. And so from zapsui to fancy hot pot today, it is more than 100 years like histories of immigration and immigrants from different parts of the China. And then also there's a lot of transnational flows of food. For example, a lot of in New York City, in the US, there are more than 40,000 Chinese restaurants in the US. That is a number much more than the McDonald's and the Wendy's added together. But it's actually very difficult to calculate the restaurants, a Chinese restaurant in New York City, because a lot of Asian restaurants, especially Southeast Asian restaurants, also serve have the fusion like Chinese food as well. And then even the Nepali restaurant in Astoria I visited before have the Chinese menu. And also this food spread to different parts of the world, and it also came back to New York City a lot for the for all these migrants who come to the US for achieving what they would like to have for their life. And they invested a lot of their labor in this pursuit. And so in today, other than this restaurant, there are also a lot of, you can see the delivery people are more and more popular to serving the food or delivering food from the Flushing to different parts of the New York City. And that network, actually, those are new immigrants, probably even came from the South America to the US by trekking the very long journey. So a lot of them probably not paid well. And then I remember like in many this kind of very authentic restaurant, they probably not that fancy, and then the hygiene conditions is kind of concerning. But on the other hand, it means like people working there are also not enjoying the very good working environment. So a lot of cheap food actually could means like the labor, a lot of immigrants labor not being paid enough. And so after all, I think like this big group, this Flushing and then expansion of Flushing food menus actually could cover more and more like different major regional food, as well as more smaller place like a local dialect, local cuisines. And then there are some high-end restaurants. I didn't put too many pictures here, like Zheli, and then like Ye is a restaurant. Red Sorghum is a restaurant in LIC, Long Island City. It's also starting to have a concentration of very different kind of Chinese food there. Like it's a new kind of area that is emerging. And then also Mountain House is becoming very popular in the past decade. And then, but for small restaurant like Hunan noodle, like also become very popular, even though it's not, it's like very quick and not fancy places. And Jingli is also a place in New York, in Long Island City, and then they actually even open until the midnight, beyond midnight, and their mala xiangguo is very good, and then it's very cheap compared to many other places. I think it's like 25, and you can eat for like 2 or 3 people. So I think I want to leave some time for the questions, so I'm going to skip some photos. But thank you for being here and listening, and I'm looking forward to your questions and comments.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
What's your favorite authentic Dongbei food, northeastern food? Which one?
I like Yanji Cun.
Yang Cun.
Yeah, I put it here actually. I think this one. Can you see it?
Oh, Yang Cun. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, sure. I will stop the screen so I can go back to the chat box.
We would like to see the dishes that you are not showing in case people don't have questions, because you can describe them and we can imagine.
Sure. Oh, let me show it again. So this is several dishes I took pictures of from the mountain house, the Chanshanjia. This is a Hunan dish called steamed fish with chopped chili. I really craving for this dish, so I ordered it. But for me, I didn't like it that much. So I don't know if you had better other options and better experience with this dish. It's a very famous like Hunan style, like it's bell pepper on the top and the tofu on the in the bottom, and then it has a lot of chopped chili as a sauce over the steamed fish head. And this is binfer, and it's a kind of dessert, and it's made of jelly in the as a base, and then put some glutinous ball, like some peanuts crunch, and then raisins, and then Sichuan watermelon as well as hawthorn like crisp. Yeah, it was very delicious, and I really like their pickles there. And like this kind of pasta is like very authentic. I think the flavor is exactly like what I missed, like what I had in Sichuan. And then they usually cabbage and also pepper, and they use a lot of peppercorn, and they use a big jar like put into the water and in the water juice, and that juice you always need to keep a part of the previous, for example, from your mom's like a pickle jar, and use that as introducing to this new jar of the pickles. And this is the appetizer that I couldn't show in the previous one. I introducing the Qingdao restaurant like daily section. It is this is fuqi feipian, but it is also served as very nice nice dish in this restaurant. So I put it here. I think that's for all. Karen, do you have questions?
Yes, thank you so much. It was a great presentation. And I was wondering, how do vegetarians, are there good vegetarian restaurants in New York City now?
Yeah, actually, I didn't try too many vegetarian restaurant, but I think near NYU I found quite a few. Like I think it's called Blue Moon or something, but I didn't try. But I saw good reviews about that. And then my friend is also a vegetarian, so he's actually trying to order the vegetarian dish, like mostly tofu dishes in these restaurants as well. And then I remember in French, he really likes a dish only costs $8. It's a peeled eggplant, like in the it's called Mountain Noodle House. It's a little bit away from the downtown Flushing. It's in the Casino Avenue side, and it's a very small noodle shop, like stir fry and a noodle and then rice restaurant. And I think that dish is one of his favorite as a vegetarian as well.
Thank you.
No problem. I wonder if you could remind me some of questions you've typed in the chat, because it seems a lot. So could you help me to bring my attention to?
May I ask a question?
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you. I really enjoyed the lecture. I agree with the people who say you should do a food tour of Flushing. I just wanted to ask, what are the challenges with the food scene in Flushing, New York?
What type of challenges do you want to?
I just like, you've given us such an amazing, tantalizing overview. Are there any challenges facing the restaurants or any? Yeah.
You mean in terms of the owners of the restaurant, or for the diners, for the customers who want to dine in?
I guess we just have a minute, so whatever you want.
How
about getting ingredients?
Getting ingredients. I think they're they usually getting ingredients like locally in Flushing, because there are a lot of wholesale, like very big like supermarket of the Chinese groceries. So, and then some restaurants I saw them even get fish dish. They just go to the supermarket across the street to get a live fish, like a fresh fish, and then come back. If someone order it, they go to buy and then bring it back to make the dish. So that's very convenient for them, right? And it's also very good for the customer who can make sure their dish is so fresh. And then I think challenges is like it's actually a little bit hard to navigate the streetscape as well. And then it's good but the reviews are I use a lot of like Google Map reviews, and I even use some of the photos from the reviews for this presentation as well. And also I think like maybe a food tour is really a good idea, but like if you want to try first, try like a lot of different variety in a one trip. I think food court is a good start, since they have many different options that you can browse at one place first, and then to choose what you want to try for today. And then it's you can choose small amounts, so and then go with friends, and it's so that you can try different foods in one trip as well. And I think another thing is I'm actually quite concerned about the like in working environment, because like restaurant work is very like neck breaking and back breaking, and then so I know there's a lot and I worked with the food delivery drivers in Flushing, and then they it's actually quite difficult for them to make the money they deserve. So I think like the working condition and the payment, those issues and the working hours are also one of my concerns. But I think there actually in the past few years, there's more and more lawsuit against the restaurant, but I think it's more systematic problem as well. So I think we are beyond time, so should I stop?
Okay, yeah, thank you, Piao 老师. Yeah, so yeah, I would like to share my opinion about Chinese question. I think there is maybe from my experience, there may be another challenge for the restaurant owner in Flushing. So as I know, so the restaurant in Flushing is changing very fast, very quickly. So if you don't, if your food is not very delicious, not very good, and you just like Piao said, you don't have a lot of a good review from the customers, and I don't think they can run the restaurant if they don't make the profit. So that's why a lot of restaurants and showing up in the Flushing and then disappear just after a few months. So when I heard it from my friends, so I looked up this restaurant. I couldn't find it in the map, and so when I go there, it's closed. So I think that's the big challenge, and maybe a big challenge for the owner. So the customers now, they know and they want to learn the restaurant before they enter the restaurant. So that's maybe a big challenge for the owner for the owner of the restaurant in Flushing. So yeah, okay, yeah, thank you, Piao 老师, and also do a recommendation restaurant in Flushing. I think it showed in Piao 老师's presentation. It's about the Shanghai food, Shanghai Yu Garden in Flushing. That's my favorite Shanghainese food cuisine in Flushing. And the price is really good. And you can get a free xiaolongbao after you're spending, I think, 10 or 15 bucks there. So it's a really good choice.
Yeah, dessert soup as a service is also very good. It's free at the end of the at the end of meal, and that one is delicious. Usually, want to pay for that dish, but they give it for free.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Piao 老师. I want to show a big thanks to you for sharing your expertise and knowledge about the Chinese food in China and here in the New York cities. I have learned a lot. The stories and the culture behind the food. I think this means a lot for us. And I also want to thank you, everyone, for joining us, for your support, and share your experience, opinions about Chinese food. And it's really wonderful and lovely to hear you, to engage in our conversation, talk to our speaker and talk to us. And thank you very much for joining us. And just like I said, so this will be the last session for this season, but we will be back in September after a short break. So I hope everyone during this time you can go to the YouTube to review our previous recording of the Lunch and Learn. And also, if you have any questions, any comments or reviews about our program you would like to share with us, just send me an email. So my email. Yeah, you can find it on the website. Okay. Yeah, I think that would be all for this session and for this season. Thank you, Piao 老师. Thank you, everyone.